morning, guys. Welcome to Advisory. We only have 2 days left before, 2 days of TCO left, right? Before the end of the year. And so I wanted to talk about something that is relevant to our experience currently, right? And it's going to spend the next 2 days talking about change and dealing with change. Change can be good, right? It depends on the way we look at it. We all react differently to changes in our lives, and they're inevitable, right? Nothing stays the same. So some changes are harder to cope with than others. And this is something we're going to talk a little bit about, okay? So what is important is that when we are struggling with how we are feeling, we need to be able to ask for help, okay? And talk to somebody. And everyone faces challenges from time to time of all different shapes and sizes, okay? And we can't feel happy all the time. That's just not a reality, right? We have to learn how to cope in the moments when we're not feeling our best. Asking for help can help you deal positively with your problem or whatever it is you're dealing with, okay? So for this, we're going to start with the reflection, I just want to give you some time to think about this, okay? So first, I just want you to think of something that could have changed for someone your age over the last year. So that could be you, that could be somebody that you know, one of your friends, one of your classmates, okay? And this could be really anything. This could include moving, changing their hairstyle, changing friendships, maybe someone passing away, maybe body changes, having more responsibility, whatever that is, okay? This could be a lot of things. So just in pairs, like with the person next to you, I'd like you to just record some of the changes that might have happened for somebody in the past year. Okay, so take some time to do that. Okay, so I'm assuming you talked to your partner, maybe you wrote it down independently in your journal, okay? Okay, so now that you've thought about some changes that may have happened for someone your age, maybe yourself or one of your friends, right? Now I want you to think about what kind of change this might be. And the reason for that is everybody differs, right? So what might seem like a small change to me might be a very big change for somebody else, and across the board. So here we have these four different types of changes. We have a sudden change, a difficult change, a small change, and an exciting change. So these are changes that I wrote down that are within the last year that are relevant to my life, okay? A sudden change is I lost a friend to a pretty tragic accident earlier this year. Small change, my friends have been having babies, and the reason why I think it's small is because I'm not having the baby, and I just get to like hang out with them, and then they go home, so it's like doesn't impact me as much as it would impact some, like my friend who's actually had the kid, right? So a difficult change is moving out of our apartment. We have been there for 6 years and have to find a new place to live, so that's been a little stressful. An exciting change is we got a puppy, and look at that picture and how cute she is. So those are changes that have happened in my life. And I put them in these categories, and that's what I want you to do with those changes that you just talked about. Okay, so take some time to think of those changes you wrote down or that you talked about and how you would categorize them. Would you put it as a sudden change, a difficult change, a small change, or an exciting change? And so if you do have something to write on, if we're using your journal, this would be a great place to kind of record all of these things. Take a minute to do that. Right, now that you've like categorized these changes, were they obvious? These are just things I'm like having you reflect on in the moment, okay? So, was it obvious which category these changes would fall under? Like, how did you decide if it was a small change versus a difficult change? Okay, did everybody agree? So, maybe the people you were chatting with, if you were conversing with the people around you, did they agree with you, or did you have a disagreement about which, and why would that be, right? Because it's like I said, everybody is impacted differently, and it doesn't always feel as big to some people as it would to others, right? So there are lots of changes in our lives that can be exciting and challenging. Okay, like getting older can be exciting, but you're also taking on more responsibility, so that could also feel kind of difficult or maybe stressful. Okay, and how we react to these changes will also differ from person to person. And it depends on how we view a change, right? Change is very scary in some cases, but it's also, it's kind of ending a chapter and moving on to a new one. Okay, so that can be also bittersweet. We could learn a lot from something and bring that into our new chapter, right? So an important thing to remember is that what might seem like a sudden, difficult, exciting, small change might not seem that way to somebody else. Okay, so it's important to give each other the space, the people in our lives who are going through changes, and remembering that it might feel bigger to them than it is to you. Therefore, we need to give them that space to deal and to cope with the change. Okay, so I know you've already done some reflecting, so I want you to think some more about what an exciting positive change might happen for you over the next year. Okay, so small changes happen every day, right? Like what we eat, what we wear, how we get to school, and those types of things, right? It can change every day. And other changes we can plan and prepare for, and that will help us cope with them and make the best of them, right? So sometimes changes happen that are out of our control, and we have to find ways to cope with them, to find a way to think positively about what has just happened. Okay, so in the next lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about those coping mechanisms and how we deal with change. Because again, you're all going to be ending school and you're going into summer. Some of you might be doing summer school. Some of you might just be traveling, whatever that is. But your whole routine is going to change. Your schedule is going to change, and you have to adjust. There's some adjustment there, right? And then you're going to have to adjust again once you start school up in the fall. So this is why we're talking about change, because you're about to, the routine that you've been experiencing for now the past school year is no longer going to be your routine. So you have to adjust. So we're going to dig into that a little bit more next lesson. But for right now, I just want you to think about a change that might affect you over the next year. So think about from today, the next school year, whatever you want to think about. Okay. Take some time. You could write it down. You can talk to the person next to you, however you want to do it. And we'll pick up with this again in the next lesson. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good day.